Every 8 seconds, a high school student drops out.
Every 4 minutes, a child is arrested for a drug offense.
Every 34 seconds, a baby is born into poverty.
Every 8 minutes, a child is arrested for a violent offense.
Every minute, a baby is born to a teen mother.
Every 42 seconds, a baby is born without health insurance.
Every 21 seconds, a child is arrested.
Every second, a public school student is suspended.
A black boy born in 2001 has a 1 in 3 chance of being incarcerated in their lifetime. Good evening. My name is Chris Burton. I'm a YALT trainer here. And today, over 100 leaders of HBCU student government associations and black student organizations from 38 colleges across the country are here to deliver a national call to action to your peers to begin a young people's movement to dismantle the cradle to prison pipeline. It's one of the worst crises faced by black children since slavery. We're here to replace it with a pipeline to college and successful adulthood. We're talking about a toxic cocktail of poverty, illiteracy, racial disparities, violence, massive incarceration, and family breakdown. You've already heard the stats. 1 in 3 chance for a black boy born in 2001 of going to prison in their lifetime. A 1 in 18 chance for a black girl born in 2001. The young leaders will be here to address the growing race and class segregation and budget cuts threatening the communities. This call to action is here and is streamed live on the web. The Church Defense Fund, on behalf of the Black Community Crusade for Children, is conducting a Young Advocate Leadership Training Program to prepare young leaders to be strong and effective voices for all children. And we're paying particular attention to the least of these, poor and children of color. So as I said earlier, 100 black college student leaders are here. And I would like you to see your attached list for local participating colleges. But we're here to frame the conversation, and now these students will be speaking about the different aspects of the cradle to prison pipeline. So let's set the problem. Let's explain what we're exactly talking about. Let's start with pervasive poverty.
Poverty is the largest driving force behind the cradle to prison pipeline crisis, intensified by race. Today, 16.4 million children in America. More than 1 in 5 are poor, the majority living in working families. The burden of poverty falls disproportionately on minority children, with 1 in 3 black and Latino children affected, compared to more than 1 in 10 white children. Every year that we keep children in poverty costs our nation $500 billion in loss of productivity, poor health, and increased crime. My name is Charles Hickman, and I attend Allen University in Columbia, South Carolina, and I am originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I am a new abolitionist.
More than 2,200 children are born uninsured every day. Poorly managed health and mental health problems increase a child's chance of being born at a low birth weight, starting school not ready to learn, falling behind in school, dropping out, being neglected or abused, and ending up in a costly juvenile detention facility, putting them at a greater risk for entering the adult criminal justice system. I am Casey Gay. I am from West Virginia State University, and I am originally from West Virginia. And I am a new abolitionist.
Expanding access to full-day kindergarten is a critical strategy for closing achievement gaps by 3rd grade. Children enrolled in half-day instruction only receive half the amount of instruction as children enrolled in full-day. My name is Maikita Ephraim, and I go to Edward Waters College in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm originally from Daytona Beach, Florida, and I am a new abolitionist.
My name is Marty Smith, and I go to Untitled Chapter in Daytona Beach, Florida. I'm originally from Daytona Beach, Florida, and I am a new abolitionist.
Expanding access to full-day kindergarten is a critical strategy for closing achievement gaps by 3rd grade. Children enrolled in half-day instruction only receive half the amount of instruction as children enrolled in full-day. My name is Maikita Ephraim, and I go to Edward Waters College in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm originally from Daytona Beach, Florida, and I am a new abolitionist.
35% of blacks and 29% of Hispanic high school students attend more than 1,600 dropout factories. Dropout factories are schools where there are more than 60% of the students who start as freshmen don't make it to their senior year. Only 50,000 black males earned a bachelor's degree last year. But an estimated 1 in 3 African American males between the ages of 20 and 29 are under correctional supervision or control. My name is Dylan Sellers. I attend Kent State University. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and I am a new abolitionist.
Intolerable abuse and neglect. A child is abused or neglected every 35 seconds. 4 in 10 children who are abused or neglected get no help following the initial investigation. More than 800,000 children are in foster care each year, and about 508,000 on a single day. Black children, however, represent 32% of children in foster care, but only 15% of all children. I am Amber Chantel Thomas. I am representing St. Augustine's College in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I am originally from St. Petersburg, Florida, and I am a new abolitionist.
When we take a look at the statistics, we see an alarming relationship between mental health problems and today's youth. Nearly 3/4 of incarcerated youth have some sort of mental health disorder. Out of that 3/4, 1 out of every 5 has a case that has been classified as severe. So what's wrong with our youth? So what's the problem? 1, out of these youth, they are less likely to receive adequate health and mental health care. 2, these youth are more likely to be homeless. But the third most disturbing development is that these youth are more likely to get caught up in our criminal justice system. My name is Travis Randall. I attend the illustrious Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, and I am a new abolitionist.
Drugs, tobacco, and alcohol are leading our youth down the wrong path. Disconnected youth lacking an education, high school degree, job skills, a support system, or mentor often resort to destructive paths. Only 10% of youth who have a substance abuse issue receive treatment for that. My name is Mariama Nagby, and I'm a student at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, and I am a new abolitionist.
One-size-fits-all, zero-tolerance school discipline policies are transforming our schools into a major point of entry into the juvenile justice system. As children are increasingly arrested on school grounds for subjectively and loosely defined behaviors, Black youth are 4 times as likely as their white peers to be incarcerated. Black youth are nearly 5 times as likely as their white peers to be incarcerated for drug issues. Most juvenile correctional facilities focus on punishment versus treatment and rehabilitation, often creating environments that are hardened on the children. This makes it difficult for them to productively reintegrate into their families and their communities. I am Arsenio Ward. I attend the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities, and I am originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I am a new abolitionist.
A key piece of dismantling the cradle to prison pipeline is the federal budget. The federal budget is an important moral statement of what we value as a nation and where our priorities lie. It's important that these effective advocates understand how programs impact our individual lives and the lives of those in our communities. Every year, The budget dictates the government's fiscal priorities, how our country spends money, and pay for programs and initiatives that benefit us all. We need a budget proposal that gives a national commitment to providing health care for all, lifting families out of poverty and helping children start school ready to learn and succeed once they're here. Now, we're live at Haley Farm in Clinton, Tennessee, and I want us all to understand that we've got a bunch of people here ready to ask questions, ready to talk more about how we can make a direct impact. This doesn't have to be something that we talk about in an abstract term. We really want you to understand this affects you right now. We can't afford anyone to sit on the sideline. So right now, we're going to talk about goals that you've already been fighting for. Now is our opportunity to make this happen. So let's take a moment and open it up for questions.
Hello, my name is Jacqueline Eldritch. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. I attend Arkansas Baptist College in the Religious Studies Department, and I want to know, how would this benefit me as a college student?
How this will directly affect you as a college student?
Yes.
As a college student, it is our responsibility, and as you can see, most of us up here are college students, to help the next generation. So this cradle to prison pipeline, it is your responsibility to dismantle it so more people like you can attend your illustrious university and be in your department, so we don't have to read these statistics every day.
Thank you.
How you doing? My name is Crystal Humphreys, and I attend St. Paul's College in Lawrenceville, Virginia, and I'm originally from Woodbridge, Virginia. And my question is, what is the basis of the Cradle to Prison Pipeline campaign?
The basis of the Cradle to Prison Pipeline campaign is understanding that our future as a nation is going to involve these youth. That we're not talking about some children that we can afford to throw away. That issues regarding poor education, issues regarding healthcare, or over-incarceration, feeding children literally into a pipeline where they're in a prison industrial complex. This isn't an isolated thing. This isn't something that you can afford to ignore. It involves the future of our nation. That if we're not giving these children a fair shot, understanding that they have a seat at the table and are able to really benefit from what we say as a nation our children are supposed to benefit from, the whole country is going to suffer from it. So it's an understanding that there might be a sentiment or a mentality that says, this isn't my problem, but it involves everyone, because these children are our children, everyone's children.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Caitlin Gaddis. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I attend Xavier University of Louisiana in New Orleans. And my question, I understand that the Cradle to Prison Pipeline is, the topics that you guys have talked about are very systemic, and they call for action, and we need to stand together and fight. But what is it that parents do for their children to pull them out of that pipeline? What is it that parents do for their children?
Thank you for that question, because that's extremely relevant, because a lot of us have younger siblings at home, and although we may feel like we are not the ones that it directly affects, but it does. And for the Cradle to Prison Pipeline, we have to understand that our children are predisposed to this, or the statistics say that when 4 months old, that's where the pipeline begins. And if we look at the research when it talks about how the 4th grade scores for young African American males or young minority males are the basis for the building of prisons, we have to see that it's so relevant. So for parents, it's really important to increase exposure for their students, to stay directly involved with their progress, all the way from elementary school up until the graduation of high school. I think that it's not just following up, but following through with not only our education system, but making sure we hold ourselves accountable, as well as the teachers that we rely on so much to teach our students their education.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marty Smith. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I attend Selma University. I want to know, how does this make it relevant for me and my peers? Because we are out that gap.
Well, when you consider history and the examination progress of America, the civil rights movement, so many movements in this country, whether it just may be particular to the civil rights movement or general progression of our nation, happened with our age group. We're young, we're full of energy, we have lots of time and energy to give to our communities. So the relevance is in 20 years, 20 to 30 years with the minority growing consistently, with consistently growing and increasing in our country, we may not have jobs available to ourselves on the terms of even playing sports and athletes with your peers. We're considering someone who may be coming out of a party, and if we have these behaviors, and if these behaviors are not addressed, so we're talking about danger of society, someone being assaulted, robbery, basically the existence of the American dream becoming to a total depletion. So when you get that master's degree and that PhD and you pursue those graduate positions, you will find yourself, it will be so dangerous to live in this country because these issues are not addressed. So not only are we considering a certain minority group, but we're considering the existence of the American dream and also our position as a global leader in this nation, in this world.
And also, to add on to what Charles was saying, kind of going back to what Chris was saying earlier, we are talking about the cradle to prison pipeline as well as the issues with the current budget right now. And on a state level with schools, I know a lot of us are from state schools, from traditionally independent colleges and universities. A lot of our state budgets are being cut. I know in North Carolina, next semester, some of us that are in school because of North Carolina Pell Grant, we will not have that. And as students, it is so relevant because we're out paper pushing and knocking on doors and canvassing and encouraging people to vote. But that's on a national level at the national elections. So we have to make sure as students, we make ourselves relevant and we march to the polls. Our polls are maybe a half a mile from our school, but we get up at like 7:45 in the morning, all the athletes, all the student leaders, we all go to the polls together. So it's important to make us relevant and to vote in our local and our state elections.
To add on to the voting, we have the numbers in every single state as college students to change the way an election goes. The reason they do not pay attention to us is because they do not believe that we care. We have to show that we care. This is the first step. But by voting, by going to those polls, by making a statement that says 50 years from now, this will be our country. It will not be the corporation's country. It will not be the bank's country. It will be students' country. And we will have a new generation of students that said, yes, those were our college leaders. Yes, they took a stand. Yes, they marched to the polls. Yes, they did something about what they saw was going wrong in this country. That's us. That's now. Because the next generation won't have a chance if we don't step up right now.
In addition to that, that's why these type of conversations are so necessary for people who feel like they are disconnected from it, because you're not. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We need to internalize that and keep moving forward.
Well said. Absolutely. So what are we asking you to do? Are we just asking you to just hear our passion? That's nice. But moreover, we're asking you to get involved. As was said earlier, this is your country. This is your issue. It's not an issue that you can afford to be a bystander for. We're asking you to get involved. We're giving you a call to action. You can do this in several ways. One is connecting with us through social media networks. We want you to follow us on Twitter. You can find us at YALT_alum. That's at YALT_alum. On Facebook, you can like our page, New Abolitionists. Please remember that's abolitionist with an S at the end. We're also asking you to contact super committees and your state reps and telling them that you do not want, and we as a nation cannot afford, for us to balance the budget on the backs of our children. We're asking you to commit to being a part of the solution, meeting with your campus leaders. If we're looking at it as a problem, but we're not offering a solution, all we've done is offer a complaint. We need to remain solution-oriented and make sure that we're doing our part in dismantling this pipeline. So right now we want to take some questions from Twitter. Oh, my apologies. That's questions from the audience.
Hi, my name is Ara Fellows. I'm a student at Rice University in Houston, Texas, and I'm originally from Houston, Texas. And this is less of a question, more of a comment to a question that came up earlier about, how is this relevant and how you can get involved and stay connected. I've been with the Children's Defense Fund since 2009, working through this very program we're doing right now, the Youth Advocate Leadership Training. And I will say that it's just so important and vital that organizations like these, we continue to do this type of work. And I organize, I work in the office, I work with youth leadership development training because college students, we have both the vision and the vigor, and I think that's important to realize that we have the capability to organize, but we also have the actual, we can put our foot in the ground, we can march in the trenches, and that's why, as he said earlier, that there are movements are founded and they are based a lot of times in the young population. So I just want to let everybody know, it's really important, and it's also something that you can do and stay connected with, because there's all these ways to stay connected with the Children's Defense Fund and have action and take action. And that's what this is right now, is a call to action.
I absolutely love that answer, because so many of our nation's movements were just imbued and moved by young people.
Hello, I also had a comment. My name is Renee Mims, and I bring greetings from the Mecca, Howard University, and I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. And on the campus of Howard University, I've taken several steps as far as making calls to action through the NAACP, as well as with the Howard University Student Association. And most recently, we have been involved with the devastating case of Mr. Troy Davis. So through that, we petitioned, we protested, we marched to the White House, to the Capitol Hill, to the Supreme Court. Those were steps that we took. However, we must remember that the movement must never end. So in our fights for justice, our pursuits for change, we must not just be a part of the moment, but be a part of the movement. And as a result of YALT, I have been able to enhance my activism as well as educate myself more on the issues at hand.
That's another point with voting. I love the voting, so I'm going to bring it up a lot probably. But if you're not registered to vote, you can't be on a jury. If we're not registered to vote and we're not on a jury, how are we going to judge our peers? How are we going to affect what happens to people when they get in trouble? Just a thought.
Hello, I'm Courtney Pardue from Paul Quinn College in Dallas, Texas, and I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. And my question is, what would be a good way to go about pulling those children out of the pipeline who have already been so deep into it that they've gone to criminal acts?
Yeah.
How do you pull them out? You start with prevention, and you start with your legislators. If we look around, this is the civil rights movement of our time. You have the 99 percenters. You have the incident with Troy Davis. We are moving past this take it as it is movement. So when those children come out of the penal system, their life isn't over. That's where we grab them, because they have to serve that time, and that's unfortunate. But when they come out, don't treat them like a failure, because their life isn't over. And everybody who has ever touched them to that point has told them just that. Your life is over. You catch a felony, your life is over. Well, in the state of Ohio, that's not true. A felony does not mark you as a beast, because you can still vote in the state of Ohio with a felony. So that means you can affect change, and you have to give them hope.
Thank you.
Just to add a comment to your question, I remember about 2 years ago at Morehouse, we had a Reverend Charles Booth to come in to speak to the students there, and he talked about the talented Tenn syndrome, where you had those of us who were educated, who had opportunity, who had gone to school, got all of this education, but we forgot to go back to the neighborhoods where we came from. I think the greatest thing that you can do for those who are in the pipeline is to be that example. I think we often, when we're talking about an issue like this that is multifaceted, multi-layered, and very systemic, we often try to find these very complex answers. And sometimes I think we have to look past that and look at the simple answer. Your life is an example. You are a candle in a dark situation. You going out to that young man who might have gone to jail, come back out of jail, couldn't find a job, needs quick money, he's thinking about going back and selling drugs again. You might be the one thing to stop that cycle of recidivism. Your word, your time spent, your mentorship may mean more than any type of money you can ever give, any type of cheap word that sometimes we offer with serious issues like this. So remember that you are the example.
Hi, my name's Amanda Geary, and I'm a graduate from the University of Texas at Austin, and I'm originally from Houston, Texas. I'm active and was active on my campus, and I'm a graduate now, and want to continue the movement for children and dismantling the cradle to prison pipeline. I know that CDF has, multiple facets to its organization, but if I want to take action now, where can I find these statistics? Where can I find the resources? Where can I find the people? If I go back home right now, what can I do?
Well, it's important for you to visit childrensdefense.org, where you'll find many of the statistics that we're talking about. And you'll understand that these statistics do connect to regular life and are affecting our children every single day. It's made very plain. So right now, we'd like to take the time to say thank you. Thank you so much for watching this. And understand that, as we stated before, this is not something that's far removed. It could be any of us, absolutely any single one of us who are in these jumpsuits.